Weight is not the only way that we should measure healthiness, for sure. I mean, we all know that there's a lot of incendiary language used around food and weight, and I don't deny for a second that there is an issue with the increased weight of our children. But I cannot abide the thought of the government intervening in this kind of nanny state way of starting before, well, effectively, before you're almost pregnant.
It sounds like, Ulrika, though, a lot of the parents felt exactly the same as you when it first started. Then there were lots of resistance to it, and yet now it's just become a way of life. And particularly, they've seen the impact it's had. That reduction of 12% is incredible. They think in 15 years' time they could well have solved the problem, and all of the young people will be of a healthy weight as well. So despite that resistance initially, they've come round to it and they've learnt too.
Yeah, for sure. But I seem to remember, I think we all remember, I think back in 2005 when Jamie started to try and reform school dinners. But I think since then we have come a long way. There is a lot of information already out there. There's good labelling. We've now got the sugar tax, and there's reduction in sugar in certain products. But the idea that there should be a blanket kind of intervention on every child. I'm wondering, is there a way of doing it on an individual basis rather than just every single person?
What's your feeling on this, Jean-Christophe, then? Do you think it is the government's role to step in and to monitor every child like this to make sure that we try and tackle this obesity crisis?
Very much, yes. I think the government should intervene and introduce this fantastic scheme as soon as possible. It should be compulsory. It should be in the curriculum of the school from primary upwards. Why? Because it's positive. I tour a lot around UK in food festivals, and as you know, I'm a chef. Therefore, I meet people constantly who are interested, kids, and also I meet people who don't have a clue how to do it. Now, if I may say something, because obviously I'm reaching my 60s very soon. In the 70s, when sex education was introduced in France, I remember everybody was alarmed, like you are now. I don't want to be told this and that. But I noticed a lot of people were embarrassed because they did not know how to do it. Therefore, back in UK, I know a lot of people, you are privileged as much as I am. My mom is the most phenomenal cook on the planet. My grandmother was, my aunties are, my daughter, my wife. Therefore, I've never had an issue. My children can cook enough dishes. They know about salt. They know salt is the worst mineral on the planet. You can't dissolve it from your body. They know about irons from your meat, from your spinach, can only be used if you have vitamin C.
So your experience is then, Jean-Christophe, you've met lots of people that are embarrassed to say they don't know about nutrition. So a scheme like this would be a huge benefit because everyone's got to do it, so they won't feel embarrassed anymore and then they can learn.
Yes, absolutely. And cooking is probably the only time you can express yourself and using your five senses combined in the same time.
And Ulrika, isn't drastic action needed? Because when we look at these statistics, though, about what's going on with children in our country at the moment, it is really shocking, isn't it? The number of children that are obese, are overweight, and when they start their life like that, is only going to continue into adult life.
No, I totally acknowledge that. I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't as privileged as you and I are. I mean, I had a really rubbish food tradition as a very young child. My mum didn't cook, but my interest in cooking came when I came to England, ironically. So I've kind of seen both sides of it. But I feel very strongly that we should also be celebrating some sweet things and puddings and whatever else. And the whole thing, I said to my son yesterday, the day before, I'm going to bake some buns tomorrow morning. You can take one into school. Do a lot of baking, cardamom bun with some creme pat in the middle. Oh, no, I can't take that in. It has to be fruit. And suddenly, that to me seemed just crazy that he would only be allowed to bring fruit. Yes, he would be able to have it at home.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
then...
can I say, sorry, do you know how much sugar we're allowed to consume per day in grams per adults? Not children, adults, please.
No.
Right.
No.
I do, 75 grams.
What do you say? Every person?
Every day, you can consume up to 75 grams of sugar.
That's what we should
And this
do.
doesn't include your carbs, your sugar converted from your carbs. Therefore, you talk about crème pat, you talk about donuts and this and that. What I'm saying is to learn to cook at school, which will be a fantastic scheme, and I will put myself forward to help and give my support if he has to be. You teach people nutrition, the kids nutrition. You teach. I'm not telling that you should not have sugar. I'm saying that you need to understand where you stand on the line.
Okay.
But don't you think that a lot of people have this information out there already?
Not everybody.
So that's an interesting debate, isn't it? Because Jean-Christophe, you're saying that in your experience of going around the country, you've seen people that don't. Ulrika, your understanding or feeling, maybe because you've been in a different environment and you've made yourself aware, is that it's all out there. There's there for stuff. Let's just go back to Hilary, if we may, who's been out there. So Hilary, you've been there. You're at the coalface here in the UK as a GP, understanding this explosion and this problem we have with obesity. You've been over there and you've seen how this can work. You can understand Ulrika's resistance to this, can't you? Because, of course, as parents, we don't necessarily want to be told how we need to bring our children up.
Yeah. Well, Ulrika's an informed, educated woman. She knows what nutritional information is all about, but a lot of people don't. They want the extra help. The impression I get here is it's not a nanny state intervention at all. They welcome the help the state are giving. For example, they're taking unhealthy foods off the shelves. They're tackling the food and drinks industry, which does so much to tempt children to eat unhealthy foods. And the parents are embracing this policy that they've adopted here. And it's really working. You can see a difference. And it's not about telling parents what to do. It's about empowering them and giving them the information that they need so they can make important choices. So it's about the food and drinks industry. It's about starting from the first days of life right through to the age of 18. And children are learning what good cookery is all about and what healthy food is all about, and they're loving it.
Okay,
so I don't think there's any resistance
let's just come back to Ulrika
that you
for a
can see
second to respond.
that will be translated at home.
I just worry a little bit about banning certain foods and banning. I believe very firmly that it makes something a little bit more
banning is not banning. It's not to have access. Sadly, some people don't have the choice and they buy some cheap food, which there is not the nutrition they need. They need to understand every day there is not much to be intaking. Eating is a necessity in life. We have no choice, we have to eat. I'm sure you must have a fantastic phone, yeah? You buy the best of your phone. It should be the same with food. You should buy the best produce. This country has changed. I've been here for more than 35 years. The farmers are working more, everybody's working together with chefs, restaurants. This country has moved on. Why not giving this education to those young kids? I've got a 6 years and a 10-year-old boys, and they know everything about...
As you'd imagine they would.
And I am so proud of that because it's an advantage.
I just think it doesn't sound just like education. I am definitely pro-education.
But you imagine,
100%.
they spend 5 billion...
Come from a country where
the
has a nanny
NHS spent
state.
5 billion on obesity. Surely that money should be spent on something else, like cancer research, for example. Why do we have to spend so much money? I have spent a lot of time in the hospital recently. I saw so many cases of people wishing, I wish I could help them.
Yeah, that's the frustration, isn't it?
When you reach 35, from the moment you reach 35-year-old, you spend 4 to 5 hours a day. That man sounds depressive. 4 hours to 5 hours a day to spend your time to get older. This is true story. Therefore, what do? Instead of allowing that to happen by eating some nonsense food, what you do, you eat the best nutrition to allow to block this away.